Okay, YouTube people. This is David Couvillion. He's over here at Teddy's Juke Joint. It is January the 8th, 2020, and nobody is here yet to play with me, so I figured we'd do an interview. So,
Yay!
okay, now you're going to have a little.
Do that. I need to pull it up again.
Yeah, that'll be good. Okay, you're with the Blues Society?
I have been with past president of Baton Rouge Blues Society, board of directors of Baton Rouge Blues Society. I'm still affiliated with them. I'm past board of directors for the Baton Rouge Blues Foundation.
Okay.
I'm on the West Baton Rouge Museum board of directors, as well as the West Baton Rouge Museum Historical Association. I helped with establishing the Juke Joint at the West Baton Rouge Museum to
Okay.
try to bring that together and expand the blues to people who really don't appreciate what we have here in the Baton Rouge area.
True words were never spoken. No, I think I read an article, somebody sent it to me from, that was done at the museum on juke joints.
Mm-hmm.
That was you who got that started,
Yeah, I
huh?
did. I
Okay.
tried to get that. I tried to get that started. The West Baton Rouge Museum is about the sugar industry, and
Yes.
of course the sugar industry goes back to plantation life, slavery, and all the other things. But part of all of that culture was music,
Yes.
and the music that came out of that was the blues. And in the Baton Rouge area, the blues was spectacular because the number of people that came out of the Baton Rouge area.
You're going to start
Yeah,
listing
we'll
everybody.
do
There's a lot of them.
Slim Harpo.
Yeah.
Of course, the great Slim Harpo, who became internationally known, Robert Pete Williams, Sam Hogan. Just not to mention the Neal family out of West Baton
Right.
Rouge Parish. So
Right.
Kenny, Little Ray, Rayful Neal, all of the people that came out of that. And of course, people around the area don't appreciate what the blues grew up out of the agricultural culture that we had here in Louisiana. So the Delta area from Mississippi on down to New Orleans, that music was created, and people migrated to New Orleans because New Orleans was the biggest city at the time, and the opportunity to make money. So musicians don't get a lot of money playing in plantation stores, plantation houses when paydays got things. A lot of times when paydays occurred, people would gather around and the musicians would sit on the outside and start playing music and wait for the tips to come in so that they could play and then the dancer would come in. But down in New Orleans, they were making music in the bars, in the prostitution houses, and the jazz joints and those kind of things. So they would migrate down there to make a few bucks. Then they'd come back home. And it all up and down the river, and between the Pearl River and the Mississippi River and Amite. On the other side, the west side of the river, go down to Donaldsonville, and then Donaldsonville down the west side of the river. They had tons of musicians that were coming out of there who became internationally famous for what they were doing.
After recording happened.
Yeah, well, no, they were doing it, and a lot of people didn't get recorded, but people were famous for what they were doing. You know, you even go back to Buddy Guy. Buddy Guy talks about the itinerant musicians that would come through Lettsworth and Simmsport that he would pick up and he would listen to and he would mimic and he would try to do the thing. And he didn't have a real guitar; he was making up things. And that's what happened in the rural areas where people were so poor they couldn't afford things. They would make their own instruments and they would try to work the thing. And that's how the different style of blues would come about. You know, jug bands, country music. You know, jug bands really don't exist anymore. But between jazz, jug bands, and country music, they all had an influence, and then the blues came into that as well. And melded together. Now they're separate genres, but at one time there were really only one thing.
Right.
And it was an opportunity for people to get entertainment when there was no radio, there was no big dances. You know, symphony orchestras came through, big bands came through, or musicians came through, and they would drive. once cars came around, they would drive through, they would play one night, and they would move on to the next town, move on to the town. But the local people still had their own little juke joints and their little bars and little things, or their little payday nights, or Friday night fish fries, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. I know Henry Turner's trying to get something up and along like that. And then I heard that Chris Thomas King is going to start something.
He's already started another blues box again down on Government Street to try to recreate what his daddy had.
Where? Where on Government? I'm
right
there. I live there.
Where the old General Electric Company was, right there by the railroad tracks on Government Street.
Yeah.
On thing. So in that, they're trying to redevelop that area, and so he's done another Tabby's Blues box up there, and he's trying to recreate that.
Is it in the red brick building?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Wow. And it's by the railroad track.
Yeah, right,
So
right
I'm
there
gonna
next to
have
the
to go and
railroad
look
tracks
at
in
it.
the middle of Baton Rouge.
Right.
Absolutely.
And then, or I'll call Henry. Henry will know where it is.
Henry does a great job. He's an ambassador. He's another one of the Slip Harper Award winners as an ambassador.
Oh, okay. Well, see, I got started playing courtesy of Henry Turner.
Okay.
So he had a Monday night event that merged every style of music, because back then I was doing folk music, original folk music, and we had a lot of the, well, they weren't hip hop back then. It was, what did he call it? What do you call that? The music?
Rap.
Rap.
Yeah.
They were rappers. And so I used to
Integrate the two.
integrate all styles of music
Right.
in one place, because it was his theater.
You know, that's one of the things that Larry Garner does, is he tells stories with his music.
Right.
And that's what the rap and hip hop stuff does. It tells stories through the music. And that came, you know, the blues was one of those old type of things. There were different type of blues players who would actually do music, and there was others who told stories through the thing and carried on the old legends and things that came through.
One of my favorite songs by Larry Garner is the song that he does talking about pulling up to the gas station.
The gas
and
station
getting
on the
gas-
corner of Acadian and Acadian and Florida Boulevard. Yeah, I love that song.
And some this
And
kid,
then he morphs into
he knew all the words.
Shupak Takur song.
Yeah, knew
And
all
that-
the words.
Absolutely.
And then he's asking the kid, well, do you know
No,
B.B. King? And do you know?
And the kid doesn't know where his heritage comes from.
Right.
No. That's amazing.
No, it was that, but that is absolutely one of my favorite songs by him.
Yeah, it is. He does a great job with that. And he plays it in Europe all the time to rave reviews and things.
Well, good. I'm glad he was a tremendous songwriter. I knew him from Phil Brady's.
Yeah.
Because he was running the jam at Phil Brady's when I started getting involved with the whole music thing going on. And then I went with him to Memphis, Tennessee, because he did the competition.
He was the International Blues Challenge.
Yes.
He was the very first winner.
No, it wasn't. It'd been going a couple of years.
No, I think Larry was the first winner.
You think
I believe so.
that was the first year of it?
I think that was the
it
first
was going on
Okay,
before
well, maybe
that.
I'm wrong. I have known to have been wrong in the
Yeah.
ex-Mary. She will tell you how much I've been wrong.
Because
in my
I
life.
was actually at that competition with
Okay.
Larry.
Okay.
The I can't remember the name of the guy. What did they call it? But anyway, he won the award, and I was at the award ceremony with him. But because I was dating his bass player at the time, and so that's how I ended up being there. And I was realizing that they weren't timing it correctly, and so I was double checking the timing, and because he had this many minutes to play, and Larry liked to play improvisationally. And so I knew I was timing it all and telling him when to wrap it up, because if you exceeded the
Right,
time
you got-
limit,
you got-
you were disqualified.
But that's just another indication of the blues that came out about Larry Garner.
Right.
Another individual, the Neal family. Jonathan Boogie Long, who won, who's been awarded a guitar, for
I
his guitar playing
started
and everything.
Jonathan Boogie
I remember when
Long.
Johnny was like,
I started Jonathan Boogie Long. I picked him up when he was 10 years old and brought him into the
we
blues.
would go to M's Fine and Mellow Cafe,
Yes.
and he would be 12 or 13 years old playing and everything. And
That's
his
right.
parents would be there so he could be
Yes.
there playing
That's right.
playing music. And digging the blues, and this guy just came along. Remember, he was afraid to sing. He could play the guitar. You don't remember when Boogie
didn't sing?
He didn't sing a lot when he was
When-
very young.
when he was very young,
he would
he
kind of sing.
But he has
when he
a
would sing, he would
beautiful
turn
voice.
his face and he wouldn't face the crowd. He was kind of embarrassed, but he turned around and he started gathering that persona that he has now. He's ready to go on the thing, and
Yeah,
he does that.
he's brought me some of his acoustic songs that he's done. And that is a songwriter par excellence, okay? He is so good at writing songs.
Yeah.
So he's going to have a tremendous career.
We have that. There's some young people that are coming along here, and I think Carter Wilkerson from West Baton Rouge Parish
Haven't met him.
is coming along. You need to pay attention, listen for his name again. He started college now, so he's a little bit outside of the thing. But while he was in high school, he was playing a lot, and some of the other musicians, and pick up musicians and start bringing them in to Phil Brady's on the jam, or they'll come in here to play and sit in with guys. And people are brought into the blues music that we have in the area. You know, the blues in Baton Rouge are a meld of the swamp pop area. They're a meld of the Delta blues that come around. They're a meld of the industrial blues from the plants that are in the area. That's Sam Hogan and Silas Hogan, not Sam. Sam is his son. But Sam is another one who is all really great. But Silas Hogan and all with the industrial blues type thing.
You've never been up here when I'm here. Okay.
I came once and I haven't been back in a long time.
I've been here
I
15 years.
I know
okay?
you have.
And I don't know your face, which means that you haven't been here, okay?
Oh,
So
gosh,
you might-
make me embarrassed.
And but this is a soft venue for musicians who either have not played for a long time or they're beginning to learn how to play, and they need to be on the stage and learn how to play with equipment, with other
See,
musicians.
that was the great thing
so
about
this is a soft venue
That was the
where
great-
I can gently
Yeah.
break them
people in.
into that and teach them.
That was the great thing about Tabby's Blues Box. Is
Yeah.
No matter who showed up, you showed up with an instrument, Tabby got you on stage.
Oh, that's not exactly true.
Well,
If
you
I
had
liked-
to schmooze him a
Yes,
little bit,
that's
but
right.
okay.
That's more true. So if I was bringing somebody I knew, I would tell them, you either leave your guitar in the car or you bring it in, and as soon as you come in, you put it on the ground.
And yeah,
I says, and then you go back and find the man who's sitting in the back.
he was always sitting on the corner of
He
the
was
bar.
sitting in the corner by the heater. I says, and and introduce yourself. If I'm there, I will introduce you. But just talk to him and very politely ask, can I, is it okay if I play? You ask politely, you get up on that stage. You walk in there and ignore him or act like you're all that and a bag of chips,
Yeah, yeah.
you're not getting up.
Same thing with Phil Brady. You go in there, wait for the jam,
Exactly.
and if you're a new guy, you're not
gonna
going to
wait.
play till midnight, 1 o'clock
1
in the
o'clock,
morning,
more
where
like
you're
1
like
o'clock.
three people left in the
That's
bar.
right.
I think, but that's okay.
That's
because there were
exactly
some
right.
other musicians there who would hear you,
Right.
and that would work out.
Yeah, there was I had a concussion, 2 concussions back about 3 years ago, and it affected my memory a lot. So me losing the names of these people, that's just part and parcel of injuries that I have, sustained. So, but yeah, I mean, I've been, right now.
You've been a stalwart in the area for a long time.
Well, thank you.
And people know your name.
Yes.
And people see who you are, and your thing. People gravitate toward you, and they will drop your name because I have been there.
Okay.
And people will go say, "Well, I know Dixie." I said, "Okay, gotcha."
You're validated,
Make
Dixie.
sure it's not on. I want to go
Oh,
down
it
there.
is definitely on. It's definitely on. I'm doing his interview, so.
Okay, I know, but
Okay. You want to pretend to be me and walk back and forth? You look pretty good.
She is pretty good.
Yeah.
I love her.
And but yeah, and so my face is on the side of the shop where you bring your stuff, the pawn shop.
The pawn shop on the corner of Acadian
Acadian and Government.
and Government. Yep,
Yeah.
it sure is.
Sure.
That is a great mural, by the way, because it has
Isn't
the
it
legends
wonderful?
of Baton Rouge
Yes.
on
Yes, it
on
does.
the thing. Mr. Henry is getting on that end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
put up a thing. And another great ambassador for Baton Rouge in the area who who went to Chicago, made his name playing with the bigs. I mean, really, Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf and Little Milton and Buddy Guy and all of those guys. And then he came back home and he's playing. You know, like 9 months ago was his last time that he really played in public at the West Baton Rouge Museum. We had a little thing. They only expected him to like talk for like 10 minutes, and Mr. Henry went on for an hour and a half.
Of course he would.
Just playing, and it was just wonderful. I mean, he's 94 years old, and he was sitting, he was hanging, he was banging the keys.
You know, if you're just nice to people, if you're just decent to people, because a lot of times I don't know who people are. I'm just nice to them because I like them, okay? No other reason than that. I was running a stage at Fest for All. Fest for All back in the day was 2 days long, okay? Yes, the thing is still on. It's on. See, it's on. And I was running a stage at that time, and I had booked all of the talent for the stage, and somebody had not shown up, and this little man, he came up and he says, "Are you running this stage?" I says, "Yes, I am." He says, "Can I play?" And I says, "Well, it's booked up." I said, "But please stick around because the act that's going to be next has not shown up yet. And if they don't show up, I've got a spot for you." He says, "Well, I don't have my guitar." I said, "Play my guitar. You know, I have a guitar. Here we are. You know, we have microphones and everything. You know, it's all fine." And so anyway, the group did not show up. And I set this man down, and I gave him my guitar, and he started playing. And his name was, all the people started gathering around to listen to him. And I'm just listening to him play. And somebody looked at me, and he says, "Do you know who this is?" And I says, "No, I have no idea who it is. I have no idea." He just wanted to play. I had a spot. I gave him my guitar, and he's playing. And it was, oh, I can't remember his name. Oh, goodness. Why do I do these things to myself? But he had a stroke right after that and couldn't play anymore. So I want to say something like Concrete, but it's not Concrete. But it was one of those little old men who was very famous.
But that was one of the things about jams is you never know who shows up.
No, you never do.
And somebody shows up, and you know, I can't tell you how many times I've been in a jam here in Baton Rouge, and Buddy Guy or Sam Guy will show up, and our Phil Guy, not Sam doesn't play, but Phil does.
Yeah.
And these guys will show up and start playing, and you know, nobody pays a cover charge. I mean, you know, maybe a nominal cover charge of $2, $3, $4, $5.
$5, I think.
And you see Buddy Guy playing on stage for $5.
Yeah. I mean, and don't think anything of it.
No.
I had a.
Kenny Neal comes in and he starts blowing his harmonica and blowing the joint out. Yeah. Absolutely.
I can't remember that guy's name. Doggone it. Oh, well, it'll probably never come to me, you know, because I really did. I got a lot of my memory erased, which is pitiful. The other thing that I got erased was facial recognition. So I can see somebody, and if it's a bad day, I won't remember if I've ever seen them before or not. You know, that guy was, I ran into him over at Tabby's Blues Box. And wish I could remember that name. Anyway, it's been a long time.
It's the thing, but the blues has been good to Baton Rouge, and Baton Rouge has been good to the blues.
Well, I'm glad you're part of it. I'm glad you're working to keep it going. I had never run into you. I'd only known.
I fell in love with the blues. I'll tell you the story. I went. We had some property outside of town. My father, my uncle, and my grandfather had some property outside of town, Port Alton. And every now and then the grass had to be cut. So we get on my grandfather's Cub tractor and drive it down Rosedale Road to cut the grass. I was 8, 9, 10, 11 years old.
Right.
And I drive it out there and mow the grass, and I'd drive it back into town. Where there was a bar on Rosedale Road called White Alpha Inn.
Okay.
And I'm driving down the thing, and I hear music coming out. Now I'm a little white white boy sitting out there
Right.
in the middle of black area, and you know the separations in small towns in Louisiana. And so I drove the tractor in it, and I couldn't go in the bar, obviously. But the side door was open, so I went and I sat down next to the side door, and I'm listening to the music. I am just like,
Right.
this is awesome. I'm sitting down and listening to the music. Well, they took a break, and the guys came out for to smoke a cigarette and a few beers and just get away from the interior of the thing. It was like the middle of the afternoon on a Saturday afternoon, or Sunday. It might have been a Sunday afternoon. And it was definitely a weekend. And the guy looked at me and said, "What are you doing here, boy?" I said, "Just listening to music." And he goes, "You like that?" I said, "Man," I said, "I really liked it." And he went in and bought me a Coke, and it came. It was Slim Harpo.
Oh, okay.
And of course I've been a Slim Harpo fan ever since
Right.
and everything. But that's what turned me on to the blues, and I learned. Then when I found out, I mean, I'm 11 years old, so this was like 67, 60. I must have been more like 8 years old. It was 67, 68. And Slim
Okay.
died in 69, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken. And I started listening to the thing, and I found out this guy was world renowned, and I'm going, I'm in Port Allen, Louisiana, or
I know.
Lobdell, Louisiana,
I
and
know.
world renowned guys sitting here making a few bucks, playing some music. I was just totally blown away.
I lived in Lobdell, Louisiana,
Yeah.
believe it or not, for a while. I
Oh.
lived at the end of the road. You know, there were cane fields on 3 sides. When they cut the cane
Welcome to
fields,
Louisiana.
yeah, you got
Yeah.
rats in the house.
Yeah.
You know, they came out of the
They all
cane
ran
fields
out.
and came in the house, which is pretty scary. Yeah.
Certainly enjoyed talking to you, darling.
Thank you. Nice talking with you too.
Yeah.
So anyway, nice to meet you.
We've met before that
Okay.
you don't remember, but
I
yes,
know. I'm-
good to
I'm
good
so
to
sorry.
good to reacquaint. That's
I
not
have
a
to.
problem.
I have to act like everybody's my friend because I truly.
Could you remember when we used to have the mud ins here at Teddy's?
Yeah.
Because I met you here at
Okay.
several of the mud ins that we used to
Okay.
do here.
Okay.
Yeah.
That could very well be. I've got some of the recordings from when I played at the Mud Inn.
Still.
Really good. Had a great bass player back then, a woman bass player, Emily.
Yes, I remember her.
And Emily is a vet, and now she's got like Garden District Animal Hospital. And so she stopped playing with me, but she was sure talented on that bass. Good grief.
You know, like typical musician, I found something that made me a few bucks. I got to do something else.
Yes, yeah, got it. Anyway, that's the end of the interview. Thank you very much. Let me give you a card. Loving Heart 225 is the YouTube channel, and I'll have it up by tomorrow morning.
Oh.
Yeah.
My card, if I can get it out, is sticking one of
I got one just like that. You can barely get the card out. All right, good. Okay. Secretary of the Navy, retired. Do you see this, guys?
Nah, you hang around long enough, anything will happen.
I know. All right. Well, I'm going to turn it off, and we're going to get our music set up here.